Good morning. Christ is risen. Our gospel this morning takes us to the shores of Galilee. As you recall, at the Last Supper, Christ had said upon his rising he would go to Galilee. Also, the angel at the tomb mentioned that Christ was at Galilee. So that may have been where they got their direction to go there. There are 7 disciples, and we're not sure where the others are. But it was interesting. I always find it interesting in the gospel when people are named, because some get their full name, like Simon Peter. Others are identified by who they are, sons of Zebedee, but no names. And then, of course, there's the 2 others. Now, I'm not sure about you, but if I were the 2 others, I'd want a little more identification in this process. But I find that interesting whenever I read scriptures. So the 7 of them are there, but the most important thing is that they're there together. And Simon Peter says to the others, "I am going fishing." And so the others say, "Well, we'll come along," remembering that many of these were professional fishermen by trade before Jesus was involved with them. So they go out to fish, and fishing at this time is usually done during the night, and then their catch is brought in and sold at the market in the morning. Well, this night they have caught nothing. So they were already feeling discouraged and confused. It's dark out, they're feeling dark, and I think they've been traveling with Jesus for 3 years, so they've not been away from him. Even in their worst times, they always had reason for hope. This must have been frustrating for them, as I'm sure it is for you, as in what we are doing now is not being together. We can relate to this as we go through this virus and this environment that we are in. We miss you here at St. Gerard. As they're coming into shore, they see a man on the shore. It's Jesus, but they don't realize that that's who it is yet. He says, "Children, do you have any fish?" Now he knows the answer. The answer is no. So he says to them, "Throw your nets on the right side of the boat, and you will find some." Now this isn't an idle suggestion, but a promise that they will find fish. They obey and can't get their net back in the boat as it is filled to the brim. This miracle abundance of fish caused the disciple whom Jesus loved, we know as John, to realize that this was Jesus. So once Peter hears that it's Jesus, it doesn't take him any time to want to get to the shore. However, he does take a moment, it's interesting in the gospel reading, to identify that he needs to dress appropriately. So he changes his garb, probably putting on a loincloth to swim ashore. He jumps into the sea. The others come along dragging the net behind the boat. And they see a charcoal fire with fish and bread on it. They're told to bring some fish that they have caught. So besides the fish and bread that Jesus already has on the charcoal, he's asking them to bring some of their catch. Simon Peter obeyed Jesus and dragged the unbroken net ashore. Now this issue of the 153 fish in an unbroken net is interesting to me. The 153 fish, unusual number by any means, but it wasn't uncommon for fishermen to count their fish, so the number may be irrelevant. However, in some people's evaluation of this gospel, they feel that perhaps it was meant to be 153 converts, and the unbroken net was the church. And it relates back again to Jesus' original message of making them fishers of men. Jesus invites and commands that they come and have breakfast with him. So he's providing fellowship while they're in awe of the experience. They do not ask who he is because they now are close enough to know that it is Jesus. He took the bread and gave it to them and did so with the fish. Now this meal itself is not Eucharistic, but it embodies a central aspect of what Eucharist itself is about. Communion with the risen Lord in the midst of his people. It must have been an inspiring and profound breakfast, one I'm sure we would all like to have been a part of. Now, this was the third time after the resurrection that Jesus had appeared to the disciples and that he was their Messiah. This miracle not only blessed them with a bowl full of fish, but it also restored their hope and their confidence in Christ's characters of gracious giver of abundance and love. Are you being used to impact others spiritually? Pray for opportunities in your life to be God's channel of spiritual blessing to the needy in the world. He has risen indeed.